everyone, welcome to another ranking. Here's my ranking of Zack Snyder's movies. Yes, I enjoy some of Zack Snyder's movies. He's a very visual director, and I thought, what the hell, since Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice came out, I'd rank all his movies from my least favorite to my favorite. So yeah, let's get started. Here's my ranking of Zack Snyder's movies. Alright, coming in number 7 is Sucker Punch. Yes, this movie is the definition of style over substance. Anytime I watch this movie, Sucker Punch, and I guarantee if you see this movie for the first time, you will be like this after the movie's done. What the fuck? What? Like, that is my reaction every time I watch this movie. I've seen this movie a grand total of 3 times, and that's my reaction. Every time I finish this movie, I'm like, what? What? Like, this movie makes little to no sense. Like, some things I do get, but some things really make no sense. The plot holes in this movie are just numerous. It makes no fucking sense. And these characters are so poorly written characters. I know they're supposed to be, like, strong female characters, but they're all used as, like, sex symbols. They all wear these skimpy outfits. I'm like, this movie's pretty demeaning to women and everything. And Emily Brown, and she could be a great actress, but she's awful in this movie. Same with Jenna Malone. She can be a great actress. I love her in the Hunger Games movies, but she's awful in this movie too. Everybody is awful. Carla Gugino, she's a great actress. Everyone is terrible in this movie. The visual effects look amazing. The visuals in this movie are so well done. The CG looks great. Anytime they go into these weird worlds, they look pretty cool, but the story makes no sense, and it's not interesting, it's not well written, it's not well executed, and the acting is absolute shit. This movie is not good. Sucker Punch is a terrible movie. It's got awesome visuals, but it's an awful movie. Coming number 6 is Man of Steel. Yes, I know, this is like the thing I get the most hate from. Everyone's like, how could you hate Man of Steel? It's so amazing. I don't hate Man of Steel. I don't hate Man of Steel. I just don't like it. I don't hate it. It's not like a movie I'm like, fuck this movie, avoid it at all costs. That's not it. I just don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. This movie is just to me. It's like It's a 5 out of 10. It's just to me. If you love this movie, fine. If you hate it, fine. Like, I agree with both arguments, because there's good things in Man of Steel. The visuals look pretty decent. The action looks really good. It's like Dragon Ball Z sort of action. Russell Crowe is great in this movie. The few scenes Lawrence Fishburne's in it, he's great in this movie. Diane Lane, she's fine as Martha Kent. Henry Cavill is trying. It's a terrible script he's working with, but he's trying in the movie. The scenes on Krypton are really good, and Hans Zimmer's score is actually pretty generic, but yeah. Those scenes, they have all that working for it, but at the same time, this movie has a lot of shaky cam. It's poorly executed. There's so many unlikable characters and so many bland characters. I thought Michael Shannon was a horrible General Zod. Like Henry Cavill, he's a good actor, but he's just not written properly. Amy Adams is so bland in this movie. Harry Lennox, actually, he's pretty good in the movie too, but yeah, like Kevin Costner, like he's a terrible Jonathan Kent, and that death scene makes no sense. Why doesn't Superman just super speed and get him? Like, why is Jonathan Kent like, no, don't save me. Don't risk your powers. I'm like, he has super speed, grab him. Like, what the fuck you doing, Clark Kent? You're Superman. Do some shit. But at the same time, this movie does have good things. The action is great. The opening, Russell Crowe's awesome. But there's a lot of things that just pissed me off. And most importantly, this movie's so dark and so grim, it doesn't even feel like Superman. So yeah, Man of Steel, I'm not a fan of. If you're a fan, that's fine. I'm just not a fan of it. Coming number 5 is The Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, and oh my god, this movie, I really want to like this movie. Like, I really want to like it. It's okay, it's fine, but I love its visuals. The visuals in this movie are incredible. The animation looks sensational. It's so good. The worlds just look amazing. This movie is beautiful. Like, when you look at this movie, you don't even need the volume. Like, you don't even need to care about these characters or the story. You just need to look at its pretty visuals. The visuals are amazing. These owls look fantastic. Every scene when they're flying through these worlds is just beautiful. The soundtrack's great. The score is great. However, the characters are just uninteresting. They're not, like, terrible characters. They're just so boring and so uninteresting, and the story is so unoriginal and just so boring. This movie is boring. It's so freaking boring. It's visually amazing. It's stunningly visual. But the movie's story is so poorly executed, so poorly written, and just the voice actors they got, I don't think they're really good choices, and the characters look cool, but when they talk, it's not very interesting or very fun, just anything remotely fun. Like, nothing about this movie is fun or entertaining. Like, your kids might get bored, they might, like, love seeing the owls, but they'll get bored of this movie. This movie is really boring. Visually stunning, but boring. Coming number 4 is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Yes, I just did a 12-minute review of this movie, so yeah, if you want to know my full opinions, I'm going to leave the link down below to my review. Check it out. I went to depths about it. I don't need to say more. I enjoyed the movie. It's better than Man of Steel, but not amazing. Like, it still had a lot of the same problems as Man of Steel, but thank God for Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck as Wonder Woman and Batman. They were awesome, and yeah, like I said, go check my review out. I'll put the link down below. Check that review out. You'll know my opinions on Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. It's a fun, entertaining movie with a lot of problems, but yeah, it's fine. Coming number 3 is 300. Yes, Spartans, tonight we died in hell. Yes, this movie also has a lot of plot holes, and this movie is, of course, style over substance. Like, that's all of Zack Snyder's movies. His movies are very pretty, but I like this movie. This movie's fun. I like 300. It's a good movie. 300 Hours of an Empire is a different story. Like, there's elements of that movie I like. We'll see Eva Green is part of those elements, but it's okay. This movie is better. It's got great action. The whole movie is filmed on the green screen, but it looks good because it's like a graphic novel come to life on the big screen, and it looked awesome. I saw this movie in theaters in 2007 when it first came out, and I really liked this movie. It was so fun. Yes, it gradually, like, the quality of the movie gradually gets worse the more times you watch it. It doesn't have that watchability factor, but when you first see this movie, it's an experience. It looks awesome. The action is awesome. I love Gerard Butler as King Leonidas. He's really good in this movie. I also love David Wyndham in the movie. Dominic West is in this movie. He's fine. Lena Headey, she's fine. The villain Xerxes he's a pretty cool villain. He's like this big giant guy with piercings. It looks fine. The ending to this movie is pretty tragic. I didn't really get like teary-eyed because I wasn't fully connected with the characters, but I loved seeing them kick some ass. The action, the visuals look amazing. So yeah, I like 300. It's a fun, entertaining movie. It's nothing gripping or Oscar-worthy, but it's entertaining. Coming number 2 is Dawn of the Dead. Yes, this is the first Zack Snyder movie, and this is the only movie that's not style over substance. This is actually a remake of the original Dawn of the Dead, directed by George A. Romero. The George A. Romero one is a better movie, but I really liked this movie. This movie was really intense and really spooky. Like, zombies don't only scare me, but they're pretty creepy in this movie because they fucking run and go after your ass. And I like this movie. I enjoyed the characters, mostly Vin Rhames. Vin Rhames was my favorite in this movie. He was awesome in this movie. But all the other characters were fine. Mekhi Phifer was okay. Some of these characters were just there to die, but I loved seeing all these characters in a mall and they're trapped with zombies. It was a cool idea, and yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of the Dead series. It's not my favorite. Like, Night of the Living Dead and the original Dawn of the Dead are the best ones, but this Dawn of the Dead version was really good. It was really well directed, cool soundtrack, and it had Vin Rhames. Vin Rhames steals this movie. He's awesome, and this movie is pretty darn awesome, and it's my second favorite Zack Snyder movie. And my number 1 favorite Zack Snyder movie is Watchmen. Yes, Watchmen is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I love this movie. It's probably one of the most underrated superhero movies of all time. Some people really don't like this movie. Some people fucking hate it. But I love it. It's true to the source material. Yes, this movie is for Watchmen fans. If you've read the graphic novel, you will be a fan of this movie. If you haven't, you'll be pretty confused, and you might not like its style. It's a very stylistic movie, and it's great. The visuals are fantastic. I love these characters. I love Miss Jupiter, Night Owl, Dr. Manhattan, Adrian, Rorschach is probably my favorite. Jackie Earle Haley is so good in this movie. Malin Ackman's great. Patrick Wilson, Billy Crudup. Everyone is very good in this movie. It's very well directed, very well written. It's got great character development. It's very intense. It can be darkly funny at times, and there's some moments in this movie that will just grip you. They deal with a lot of philosophical ideas, which is interesting. They deal a lot with humanity and aliens and what is right, what it means to be human, what it means to take over the world or end the world. They talk about a lot of cool issues in this movie, and it's very good. It's also a very good political movie and all that shit. The opening to this movie with the fight between the comedian and someone is a very good fight, but I love the opening credits, seeing all these previous Watchmen. One of the best openings to a superhero movie. It's so well done. The score to this movie is fantastic. How dark and gritty this movie is awesome. It's probably one of my favorite R-rated comic book movies, right there with Deadpool, and it's probably one of my favorite comic book movies in general. It's so underrated, and it's of course my favorite Zack Snyder movie. Check Watchmen out if you haven't seen it. It's so freaking good. So yeah, that was my ranking of Zack Snyder's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this list? If not, what is your ranking of all of Zack Snyder's movies? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.